For many people, when they hear the restaurant name Bennigan's, their first reaction is, oh, I miss that restaurant, particularly if you're from my generation. And because you're here after seeing the thumbnail and reading the title, I'm gonna go ahead and take a stab in the dark and say that you're one of those people. Welcome to Restaurant Recipe Recreations, everybody, a channel dedicated to teaching you how to create your favorite signature recipes from the most popular restaurants. On this channel, you'll find everything from Panera to P.F. Chang's, and from Carrabba's to the Capitol Grill. And in this video today, I'm going to teach you how to recreate the Bayou Chicken from Bennigan's restaurants. Now, the Bennigan's restaurant chain hasn't closed their doors completely. There's a small handful of them around the United States, but even the ones that are still in existence are completely different than the Bennigan's that we all remember from like the 1980s and of course the 90s. In fact, they don't even offer the Bayou Chicken on their current menu. And the Bayou Chicken used to be one of their most popular entree and chicken dishes. And I know this because I used to work at a Bennigan's when I was in college in Bloomington, Illinois. So shout out to my fellow Redbirds. So what I thought was kind of fun about this recipe today is that I put a lot of research into every recipe and every video that I present to you, because I want to make sure that every recipe that I show you is as close, if not the exact version of the restaurant recipe. And because I do that, I really had to do a lot of digging into this recipe today, because virtually it's from a restaurant that barely exists anymore, and it's a menu item that they don't even offer anymore. And what I was able to find was like an archived kitchen manual from Bennigan's from the 80s and the 90s with this recipe listed in it. It was even spiral bound. It was like a spiral bound manual, which is exactly what all restaurant chains used to do in the 80s and the 90s before the internet and like almost before like computers. And it just kind of made me laugh because that's how they used to do things, way old school. And certainly it brought me back to some of my old-timey restaurant days. And if you're wondering, in honor of the 80s and the 90s, yes, my collar is popped. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. I want to mention too that this recipe is a request video for Karen. So Karen, enjoy your original Bayou Chicken. So what the Bayou Chicken from Bennigan's is, or should I say was, is a deep fried chicken breast which is smothered in a creamy, cheesy, almost like vegetable sauce made with carrot, onion, celery, garlic, and pickled jalapenos. What you're going to need for the sauce is Colby cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, as I mentioned, pickled jalapenos. You're going to need a green pepper, onion, garlic, carrot, and celery. You also need a bay leaf, paprika, sour cream, heavy whipping cream, chicken stock, white pepper, some flour for frying, and cracked black pepper. And then of course you're going to need some canola oil to fry the chicken. So let's go ahead and season the chicken first so I can get this into the refrigerator. I have here 4 5-ounce chicken breasts and 4 tablespoons of a Creole seasoning. This happens to be Paul Prudhomme. So go ahead and sprinkle your 4 chicken breasts on both sides with your 4 tablespoons of the Paul Prudhomme Creole seasoning. And put your chicken in the fridge while we go ahead and make the vegetable cream sauce. To start, you need 1 cup of green bell pepper in a 1/4-inch dice. Next, you want 1 cup of celery in a 1/4-inch dice. And then you want 1 cup of carrot in a 1/4-inch. Specifically, the recipe calls for it to be sliced in rounds. 1 cup of yellow onion, diced, and 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic. In a large saucepan on a medium-high heat, add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Once the oil begins to shimmer, add your yellow onion and your garlic. Stir the onion and the garlic around in the pan for about 30 seconds and allow it to become very fragrant. Next, add your green pepper, your celery, and your carrot. Add in 1 tablespoon of pickled jalapeno that have been drained and diced. You want these vegetables to become limp, but keep an eye on them and give them a frequent stir so that they don't scorch. Next, throw in 1 bay leaf, 3/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 3/8 of a teaspoon of ground white pepper, and 5 cranks of cracked black pepper. Stir your vegetables around in the seasoning to well incorporate. Once your vegetables have really begun to soften up, you're going to take 3 tablespoons of flour and sprinkle it around the vegetables. This will help thicken the sauce. Make sure that the flour is well incorporated into the vegetable, and then a little bit at a time, you're going to add 2 cups of chicken stock. And then you're going to whisk in 2 1/3 cups of heavy whipping cream. Turn the heat down to low and allow this mixture to simmer for about 5 minutes while you whisk it frequently. And then on your lowest heat setting possible, you're going to whisk in 1 cup of freshly grated Colby cheese. And once the Colby is completely melted, whisk in 1 cup of Monterey Jack cheese. And then you're going to slowly whisk in 1/2 of a cup of sour cream. Continue to whisk this sauce so that the sour cream does not break. And then finally, I'm just going to add 1/2 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Remove and discard the bay leaf, and then we're going to set it off to the side on a 0 heat and fry the chicken. Okay, take your seasoned chicken out of the refrigerator, stick it into a Ziploc bag, and add 1/2 of a cup of flour to make a dredge. And then just give the bag a good shake. Once your fry oil gets to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, place your chicken into the fry, 2 at a time, and fry the chicken on each side for about 2.5 minutes. After 2.5 minutes on one side, flip the chicken carefully over and fry for 2.5 minutes on the other side. Once your chicken has been frying for about 5 minutes and has reached an internal temperature of a minimum of 165 degrees, remove it from the fry oil, set it off on the drainage rack, and then repeat the process with your last 2 pieces of chicken. So then to serve the chicken, you just want to make sure that your sauce is heated all the way through. And you may need to warm it up a little bit on the stove since we made it before we fried the chicken. Then you want to take a plate and pour the sauce onto it first. Kind of spread it out a little bit here. And then you just take one of the pieces of your fried chicken, place it on top, spoon some more of the sauce over the chicken, and there you have Bennigan's Bayou Chicken. I'm about to have my moment of truth. Make sure to slather the sauce up on it. It's like a tiny bit spicy, but not too spicy. It's delicious. It was a real treat for me to be able to find this recipe like dug down in the most obscure place. But now Bennigan's Bayou Chicken can live on for generations. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you very much. And you know what it is, everybody. Until I see you all again, make it an awesome, awesome day. Cheers. I love y'all. And check out my Bennigan's Monte Cristo sandwich recipe right here.